So, hello and welcome to Directory Conversations, where we chat with our community of AI safety researchers. My name is Flo, and I have been running the AI Safety Research Directory along with my colleague Judo. And the directory is a community of AI safety researchers sharing information about their research, finding collaborators, and inspiring others to build safe AI systems. So, our guest on the conversation today is Terry, an AI safety researcher working on agentic misalignment. So, thank you so much for joining us on the call, Terry. And before we dive straight into the questions, could you briefly introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your research team, and the motivation for the work your team's doing?
Thank you so much, Flo and Shudo, for having me here. It's truly wonderful to see the community growing and happy to be a part of it. Hello, everybody. My name is Terry. I am a graduate of ETH in Zurich, one of the leading technical university in Europe. My research has mainly been focusing on AI safety as well as AI for science. I look at the implication of frontier AI agents in real world, especially when they're deployed in high fidelity simulations, such as when you use AI agents to simulate a research lab or a company and see what kind of agentic misaligned behavior could emerge and what kind of results that could be getting. My research team, also called AI4Collaboration, is a international and interdisciplinary team, mainly based in Europe. So many of the students that I work with are also ETH students, but we also have international collaborators spanning across Asia and North America within many leading institutions, especially with our collaborators at, for example, University of Toronto and Carnegie Mellon. We're developing a lot of very cool projects with regards to AI safety.
That sounds great. So, how would you explain the specific work you do on agentic misalignment and its values or benefits with regards to AI safety?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I think I want to start with two premises of the current AI progress. I think we have generally seen two trends of how frontier models, especially language models, are progressing. One is that these models are becoming increasingly agentic in the sense that we no longer expect just having a chatbot. Rather, we want them to do specific stuff for us. One prominent example is a coding assistant, right? We can see Copilot, Cursor, a bunch of other coding assistants helping us to do engineering tasks. And it is my firm belief that this kind of agentic task will extend beyond coding, but also to other, say, administrative tasks, but even more so scientific tasks. Say they could act as autonomous scientists, so on and so forth. So it becomes increasingly important to research misalignment and alignment within agentic contexts. The second thing is that the emergence of reasoning model gives rise to how we build machines that think, especially some of these machines have thinking process which we cannot monitor fully. For example, with OpenAI models, you don't get access to their complete COT tokens. So this gives further rise to potential threat model that machines can think in one circumstance or think A, but output B or act B. This kind of misalignment is particularly crucial for scientific application in the sense that what they do and what they think could be drastically different. This could potentially be impacted by stuff like reward hacking or simply deceiving their human users in order to achieve a simple misaligned goal. This kind of goal could potentially be introduced by your oversimplified instruction or because of something that were introduced in the pre-training stage, such as many models don't wish to be further fine-tuned or retrained. So this is why I think this line of research with regards to agentic misalignment behavior is particularly crucial, and especially with their intersection to reasoning process. Because at the end of the day, I think future AI models in our daily lives will all be agentic and they will be reasoning models. So my group mainly focus on the intersection of reasoning and safety, and especially in agentic context in one sentence.
Perfect. Thanks so much. I'm going to pass it on to Judo to ask the next question.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Terry. The other question I had is, so in addition to the research you're doing along with your team on agentic misalignment, what other areas of AI safety do you think would benefit from further work? And what advice would you give to anyone who is thinking of getting involved in technical AI safety research in general?
Mm-hmm. Great questions. For the first question, I think there are many many interesting domains and directions within AI safety research. The one that is most near and dear to my heart is what I would call a safety utility interplay. Because many times we're focusing on, for example, chatbots, whether they'll give you toxic content, so on and so forth. That has been, let's say, 70% of the empirical AI safety research we've been doing, especially with regards to jailbreaking these kind of mainstream fields. But a lot of times you don't see a lot of research that try to balance how safe one agent can be versus how useful one agent can be. And this is particularly pronounced in high stake domains such as giving healthcare advices, giving you knowledge about biosecurity, so on and so forth. This kind of high stake domains / fields, I think, pose a dual use risk. On one hand, we want AIs to democratize access to the valuable information that used to be proprietary to certain professions like lawyers and doctors. But on the other hand, we don't want any safety implications in there because any small mistakes could have a drastic impact. And so I think it is vital for future AI safety researchers to address the utility safety interplay. That is, how can we make sure that a model or a agent can be as useful as possible while being absolutely safe? And how can we make sure that in order to align them or in order to make them safer, we're not sacrificing their utility? For example, the current mainstream strategy for dealing with all these high stake questions, the easiest one is just refusal, right? If you ask me any questions that concerns law or medicine, I'll just refuse to answer them. I'll just say, I don't know, or I'm an AI assistant that cannot answer these questions. But then it becomes not useful at all. And in a sense, that kind of reverts or defeats the purpose that we want to make this kind of high stake, valuable information more democratic to the people of the world. And especially for the less fortunate ones who don't have access to expensive lawyers and doctors. So this kind of interplay is what I think would be the most important for AI safety researchers in the next couple of years. The advice that I would give to anyone who's thinking of getting involved in technical AI safety is that I think anyone who wants to do it should try to do it hands-on, do it fast. Because the current AI safety landscape is evolving at an unprecedented speed that we can see cool papers coming out of a lot of programs like MASS, like SPAR, every single day. And they're progressing at such amazing speed that if you don't act fast, your idea could be published by somebody else real soon. And I think what's nice about AI safety is that oftentimes there's not much of a blocker with regards to resources. You normally don't need massive GPU resources to do it. Sometimes you can do it on APIs. Sometimes you can do it on small open source models. And I think that's a great benefit. That also applies to other alignment subjects like interpretability, so on and so forth. But I think the most important advice I could give to anyone is if you're thinking about doing it, you should do it as rather sooner than later. Yes.
Thank you. So where can our viewers go to learn more about the research you and your team are doing? And are there any upcoming releases or publications by your team that we and the community should keep our eyes out for? And lastly, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
If anyone's interested in the research we're doing at AI4Collaboration, we have a GitHub organization called AI4Collaboration. So if anyone's interested, please just go to GitHub, AI4Collaboration. You can see all the repository we have there, which is mostly public. We generally have two lines of opening repo there. One is that we open source any tools with which we investigate all those scheming behavior, which is more technical. On the other hand, we also have 3 other repository called Awesome something that is basically a review or essentially a collection of relevant papers. For example, currently we have Awesome Agentic Misalignment behavior. We also have Awesome AI evaluation awareness. We also have Awesome multi-agents for science, which is the 3 leading subjects we're investigating right now, where we essentially gather most recent advances in the relevant field, so as for any upcoming researchers to get a better overview of the field before they start conducting research on it. So welcome collaboration and welcome contribution as well. If you feel like checking it out, please do so. And thank you so much for having me today.
Perfect. Thanks again, Terry, for finding the time to join us on the call today. And we look forward to possible future conversation with you and others on your team. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thanks, Terry.